All right. Now tell us a little bit about what we got going on out here in the city of Reno, Steve, on the 24-hour network radio with regards to all the artists being able to just freely be able to display their artwork throughout the city.
Well, I'll tell you, it all started back about 2002 when myself and a friend of mine, Ben Kleinfelter, who just walked away a minute ago, filed a federal lawsuit against the city of Reno for violating our First Amendment rights as artists. And the reason why I brought the lawsuit was because for 40 years I toured all over the United States as an artist, and I witnessed the downfall of the arts in our country in my lifetime, and I knew what had happened. And what had happened is, basically, artists got commercialized by city codes. You know, about 40 years ago, artists used to have art shows, and crafters had craft shows, and commercial vendors, you know, went to flea markets and stuff. About 40 years ago, city government started handing out permits to hold arts and craft festivals. And that was really one of the first times where artists got thrown into this mix with commercial merchandise. And it didn't take cities very long to then label artists as one and the same as a commercial vendor. Same as a hot dog vendor. If you're selling your artwork, my golly, you're a commercial vendor, you gotta have a business license, a tax license, and by the way, we don't allow commercial vending on public property. So under commercial codes, they ran every artist off of every public property all across America. They ran us out of the public parks. They ran kids that were just playing a guitar in the park, ran them off because if they're playing the guitar, they're showing the intent to make money, get out of our parks. And this literally destroyed the fine arts in America. Now, I spent 40 years painting my way around America as a working artist, and I saw this happen. And I knew there was only one solution. We had to go into federal court, and we had to get the First Amendment rights of artists defined. We had to find out who the heck is an artist, and what is protected art, because none of the federal courts have ever clearly defined this before. So my buddy Ben Kleinfelter and I, on that mission, took on Reno in 2002, sued them in federal court, and they quickly folded, and we won that lawsuit. And that wasn't enough. I wanted a ruling. I wanted a ruling out of the Ninth Circuit. I wanted a ruling out of the Supreme Court. So on my own, I filed another lawsuit against the city of Sparks. And I love Sparks. Sparks, the reason why I love Sparks is they fought me. They like to fight. They fought me all the way to the Supreme Court. And I won every step of the way. And in the federal courts, what the Federal Court of Appeals from the Ninth Circuit came back with was a precedent-setting ruling that has the ability to change the arts all over the United States forever. And what they came back with is, they said, number one, it's artistic self-expression. It's not somebody else's art. It's your own ability to engage in First Amendment speech, protected speech through self-expression. Then they listed the fine arts for the first time that are protected by the First Amendment. And the fine arts are listed by the Ninth Circuit: painting, drawing, sculpture, photography, printed self-expression, engraving. Here's an interesting one: stained glass windows, but only as art for art's sake, not as a functional window, the kind you hang inside your house. Music, theater, dance, and film. And what they all have in common is that they are useless. The fine arts are created with the pure intent of the artist to communicate some idea, concept, emotion, perspective. But they have no functional purpose at all. You can't do anything with one of my paintings except hang it on the wall and look at it. You see, and that's what distinguishes the fine arts that are protected by the First Amendment from commercial merchandise, because fine art is purely expressive. Now, the federal courts, if you understand that, the federal courts were mandated, they had to give us that ruling, because certainly the First Amendment doesn't just protect spoken and written word. You know, the spoken and written word is actually very limiting. If you speak Japanese and I speak English, we can't communicate. But if I hold up one of my paintings, we can communicate through my paintings. And people need to understand that paintings and drawing and sculpture are some of the oldest forms of human speech. You know, they're the oldest forms of art. Also, the fine arts are one of the most powerful forms of human expression because they have the ability to transcend language limitations, reach beyond a particular language group. The Supreme Court has said it's a shortcut from mind to mind. Isn't that interesting? So then once they defined what the federal, what the protected arts are, and that it's self-expression. Then we ask them, well, what happens when an artist sells their artwork for profit on a public forum, like a park or a plaza? Because every governmental policy across the country, like I said, is based upon that sale of the artwork. And there are an awful lot of people out there that think that if an artist is selling their artwork, they're no different than a hot dog vendor. And they're absolutely wrong. As a matter of fact, that part of the law is absolutely well settled by the United States Supreme Court, and the Ninth Circuit came back and told us that, and they quoted the Supreme Court, and I quote, "It is well settled that a speaker's rights are not lost merely because compensation is received for speaking. A speaker is no less a speaker merely because he or she is paid to speak." The Ninth Circuit emphasized that even more and pointed out that even when an artist sells their artwork for profit, they are not commercial at all. The sale of protected materials is also protected by the First Amendment. So that literally changed all governmental policies. It gives us the power to change all governmental policies dealing with the fine arts all over the entire western United States. The Ninth Circuit Court has jurisdiction over the island of Guam, Hawaii, Alaska, Oregon, Washington, Idaho, Montana, Nevada, California, and Arizona. It's the largest circuit court in the nation. And so this ruling quite literally opens the door for all American citizens to engage in artistic self-expression, including the sale of your artwork on public forums without a license or permit fee from anybody. You see, there was another case, important case, came down called, my case was won in 2007. You can look it up online on Google. You can Google it. White versus City of Sparks, Nevada, Ninth Circuit, 2007. In 2009, there was another ruling by the Ninth Circuit titled Berger, B-E-R-G-E-R, versus City of Seattle, Washington. This was a street performer, and that case went on quite a while, went on for several years. And the Ninth Circuit ruled in favor of Mr. Berger. And one of the most important things that they did in that ruling is they explained eloquently why government has never been allowed to license an individual's rights protected by the First Amendment. They can license large groups and things, but they can't license an individual's rights. And one of those rights goes all the way back to the American Revolution, the right to anonymous speech. You don't have to give the government your name, address, and phone number to speak out against them. You also don't have to give anybody your name, address, and phone number and all your personal information to speak out about topics in your community and have to fear reprisal from fellow citizens that may disagree with you. And these are protections that go all the way back to the American Revolution. Another protection offered under the First Amendment is a protection to spontaneous speech. The courts have pointed out that any licensing scheme that places your First Amendment rights under a license is an automatic prior restraint on your right to freedom of speech and robs you of the right to be able to spontaneously speak out about ongoing events in your life. And that's another reason why. So what happened was here in Nevada, this was precedent setting. It took many years to get this accomplished. It took 5 years through the federal courts. Now, what's happened since then is in 2005, my friend Ben Kleinfelter and other artists went into the Nevada State Legislature, and we got State Assembly Bill 351 passed, called the Art in the Park Bill. It opened every public park in the state of Nevada for art to be part of the recreational experience of the public parks. But they didn't really know how to do it. So Ben and I started putting on free community art shows in various cities. We started in Carson City, been doing it there since 2009. And we teach artists how to go about displaying and selling their artwork on public property, what the proper artist protocol is for doing this. For instance, you can't go tying your artwork onto a tree. You have to use your own displays. You have to use minimal displays. You can't block sidewalks. And by the way, this is specific to strictly, purely expressive fine art. If you're creating something like jewelry, it isn't included, because jewelry is meant to be worn, you see. If I do the same painting that I'm doing on the canvas hanging on the wall, if I did the same painting on a t-shirt, it wouldn't be included, because the t-shirt is meant to be worn. It has a dual purpose. It's both aesthetically pleasing, but it's also meant to be worn. So it's not purely expressive. And that's what the difference between crafts and the fine arts are. This is why craft items that have a functional, useful purpose, you see, A crafter creates a work of art. A crafter creates an item to have a functional purpose. You see, where an artist creates their work of art just to be expressive. Those two things are quite different under law. And so we don't want to encourage people to bring craft items downtown, and sell. But the city of Reno, Mayor Hillary Sheeby, it got pretty heated between me and the city of Reno. We won that lawsuit in 2003. We went on to open all the state parks up. We opened up all the parks in Sparks after we won that ruling there in 2007. We opened up the state parks in 2005. Reno was holdouts. Even though we beat them in court, they refused to change their codes. And finally, about a year and a half ago, Mayor Sheeby, she was actually a councilwoman at the time, she came and met with me, and she found out what this was all about. And she facilitated meetings with other council members, and once they found out what it was all about, the previous mayor, Mayor Cassell, directed their attorneys to sit down with me. And Mayor Sheeby actually came to that meeting and supervised the meeting. And after a 2.5-hour meeting with me, basically the attorneys agreed with every legal point I made, and within 5 days we had the new codes written. They sent them to me, I approved them, tweaked the language a little bit, sent them back, and those codes got passed last May. And Reno now is the first city in the entire country to have definitive codes that allow and uphold the rights of artists to be able to perform, display, and sell our artwork on the sidewalks, on the plazas, and the parks all over Reno without a license or a permit from anybody.
So tell me this, when you're saying the plazas and parks and sidewalks, be a little bit more specific,
Well, for instance, the Riverwalk, everybody knows the Riverwalk. Well, the Riverwalk's been renamed, and now it's called the Art Walk. And they even have little signs up there. And just a couple of weeks ago, Mayor Sheeby sent me a text. She goes, "Steve, I want artists along the Riverwalk all summer long, every day." And so artists are encouraged to be along the Riverwalk and putting up a display and selling your artwork every day. And you don't have to have a license or a permit for anybody. Another park, we're set up in the City Plaza right in front of City Hall. And here's another interesting thing people don't seem to realize. The right to peaceful public assembly is also fully protected by the First Amendment.
Now, what do you mean by that?
Peaceful public assembly means people can gather in a public park and have a picnic, and they can gather and just and communicate, or guess what? They can gather and engage in artistic self-expression through the fine arts, First Amendment protected fine arts.
Meaning that an individual can come together, listen in to my radio station, out here live. If they want to express themselves on a show that I create, basically for artists, they can come out and enjoy themselves and do just that.
That's right. Matter of fact, here's what's interesting. The second sentence in the ruling that I won in the Ninth Circuit says, and I quote, "We hold that an artist's sale of his original artwork constitutes speech protected by the First Amendment." The actual sale of it is speech protected by the First Amendment. Now, here's an interesting thing. You'll get a kick out of this. This weekend, there are 2 festivals going on that are being permitted by the city.
Yeah.
And there are promoters putting them on. There's a sculpture festival down here.
Exactly.
And a bunch of sculptural artists, and God bless them, they got beautiful sculptures and all. And they had to go get insurance and sponsors and permits for the city, and it took them a year to put that on.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then up by Arlington's Bridge up here, they also have a promoter putting on a festival up there with arts and crafts and a whole lot of vendors in that show. Well, interesting enough, according to these new codes, you see, those are public events. They're permitted by the city. They're held on public property. Well, under First Amendment law, the city has to also provide free speech areas right next to those events for people to set up and engage in First Amendment protected speech, whether it be nonprofit groups or be artists, and they don't have to pay the promoter anything, and they can sell their artwork in those free speech areas. Now, having said that, and I'm making sure the city honors those, those rules. So now, every time the city has a city-sponsored special event downtown, there will be free speech areas, and you can contact the city manager, and they'll send you a map and show you right where the free speech areas are, and you can set up and sell your artwork for free, and you don't have to pay the promoter or anything, and you don't have to have a license or a permit or anything. Having said that, I did festivals for 40 years. I witnessed the downfall of the arts as a result of artists being thrown into the mix with all the commercial vendors in these festivals. I did not spend the last 18, 19 years of my life fighting for artists' rights, to have them turn around and tag on to these same festivals again. So, in that vein, what we did was, a few weeks ago, a couple artist friends of mine came down and did a walk around downtown Reno because we knew this festival was coming on. And we got to thinking, where do we want to have our own art show? And we decided, the City Plaza right in front of City Hall is a great place to have an art show.
Most definitely.
Now, here's how hard it was for me to put on the art show. Remember, public assembly, First Amendment protects speech. My buddies and I were sitting here in the plaza. I got on the phone. I text messaged the mayor up on the 15th floor up there in the corner office.
Right up top from where we at, huh?
Told Hillary, I said, Mayor, we're over, your artist buddies are down here in the plaza. Wave at us. I said, Mayor, we're going to confiscate or commandeer the plaza on the 9th and 10th to have a free community art show, peaceful public assembly through artistic self-expression. And the mayor says, sounds good to me, Steve. Get some artists along the Riverwalk for me, too. We need to rally the artists. And that's how hard it was for me to put on an art show here at the City Plaza.
Not hard at all.
We just did it like that with a phone call, and then I put the word out. I have a mailing list of about 200 artists in the area that I've collected over the years. Put out the word, and artists were invited to just come down and set up, and they'll be here today and tomorrow. And here's another great thing. Just yesterday, we reached out to the Reno Indian Colony.
Okay.
And the Native American people are also going to be able to start doing this. And we're going to encourage them to come on down, and that'll draw some of the tourism and all to the downtown area. And it will benefit the Native American people so much.
Yeah.
The
whole city will be able to benefit from
that's right.
activities.
Now I'm going to totally blow your mind, and I'm going to take this back home by telling you how I became an artist advocate. I toured all over the United States for 40 years as a working artist, painting my way from town to town. And of all the places, in 1999, the Creator had me in Littleton, Colorado, where I became a witness to the massacre at Columbine High School. And the two boys that did the shooting in that massacre were actually both artists, and they had gotten into it with the football team and started the Trenchcoat Mafia, and that's how that all unfolded. It's a terrible, horrible thing that happened. One of their friends came to me after that shooting and told me about those two boys who did the shooting, the horrible thing that they had done. And that young man told me that, his name was John, he told me, just think, Mr. White, if Eric and Dylan had had a chance to get that out of them in a positive way through their artwork, maybe it never would have happened. And that's what put me on this mission. And the mission I've been on ever since that day is to deliver the gift of art back to the children of our country as an alternative to guns, drugs, and violence, and to restore the humanity to our communities. And bro, you're a black man, I'm a white man. Let me shake your hand, brother.
100%.
You know, you and I both witness what's going on across this country this day.
All the time, every day.
There's all this unrest and all, and all this racial bias and all. It's a horrible thing in the United States of America. I want everybody to stop and think about something. The United States of America is a melting pot of people from all over the world. Different heritage, different culture, different beliefs. The single greatest tool that the Creator has given us to building bridges of understanding amongst all these people in this melting pot we call America is the fine arts. We need to get all of our brothers and sisters out, involved in the arts, so we can learn from one another. We need our grandparents out, involved in the arts, mentoring our children involved in the arts. We need our families to bring your talented children down and participate in the arts in the public parks. I'm after the city of Reno now because of 40 years of bad policies that destroy the arts in this community. I believe that this city has a debt to pay to the children of this community. I want to see venues built in the public parks, permanent displays where an artist can simply come down and hang their artwork up. We have baseball fields and football fields and soccer fields and tennis courts and skateboard tracks. Artists have a right to be in those parks. Why isn't there a place for children and families to be able to come down and participate and play in the arts in our public parks? We need to do that. And by doing that, the way we restore the arts to our children's lives is through community participation. The example has been in front of us for all these years. The example is sports. What do we do with public funding for sports? We go out and build sports venues to encourage people to engage in sports. Is it any wonder that we don't have plenty of public financial support for sports in our communities? And on the other hand, what have we done with art? We have turned artists into criminals for the last 40 years. We have had our police departments threatening artists with citations, fines, arrests, confiscation of our artwork, and imprisonment for engaging and being an artist in our public parks. That's what we've done over the last 40 years. It's a terrible thing, and it was a mistake that was done. It's easy to understand how it happened, but it was a mistake. And now that mistake has been changed by the federal courts, and we need to bring this about. And so today we're having this free community art show to start this, to rally the artists here in downtown Reno and teach everybody about these wonderful opportunities that Reno has opened and that your great mayor has opened. Working with me, we have done this, and the mayor is totally supportive. God bless her, by the way, and her family right now in the tough time she's going through. My heart just goes out to her. But what a wonderful person the mayor is, and she's the one that is helping to facilitate all this. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing. Reno is at the forefront of this in all cities across America. Matter of fact, the mayor was at a mayor's conference just back in January, and while she was there, I sent an email to the White House, and I asked the president to reach out to our great mayor and find out about what we're doing here. And just a couple of weeks ago, right down there, I framed it, I got an email, and it was from the White House. And at first I thought, boy, those scammers are pulling off a big one on this one. And I almost threw it in trash. I thought, I better open this to read it. And here, if you want, I'll read it to you.
Yeah, check it out. Yeah, let's check it out. We got to. That's what it's all about, man. It's 24-hour network radio. We bringing everybody live coverage right here from Reno, Nevada. You feel what I'm talking about? It's related to, you know, the arts and crafts. You know what I mean? Individuals that's out here in the arts world, you know. Listen to this.
Well, here's a letter that I got from an email I got from the White House. Surprised the heck out of me. Dear Stephen, thank you for writing and for your service and sacrifice. I appreciate your passion for the arts and humanities, and like you, I believe they enrich our lives and strengthen our understanding of the world we share. America's paintings and poems, our stories and songs, do more than entertain us. They push us to think and discover, to grow and reach new heights. They help us bridge our differences, show us that we are the heirs to a fundamental truth, that out of many we are one. Each of us has had our ideas challenged by a writer's perspective, our understanding deepened by a historian's insight, or our spirits lifted by a singer's voice. These experiences are a crucial part of our children's education and a driving force behind our country's innovative and inclusive spirit. The creativity and analysis inspired by the arts and humanities remind us that one of the most powerful tools we possess as a people is the human imagination. The dreamers and creators that fuel progress and help light the way ahead need our support, and we need them to succeed as much as we need our engineers and scientists to exceed. Our artists and scholars disrupt our views and stir in us a desire to be our best selves. My administration will continue doing everything we can to encourage states and local school districts to maintain strong arts and humanities programs. Thank you again for writing. I encourage you to keep speaking out, and I wish you all the best. Sincerely, our President, Barack Obama.
That's amazing, right?
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
That's how much our great president cares about the arts, and is involved in our local communities, involved in this. Puts a tear in my eye, bro. You know?
It's amazing to hear that, man. To actually be able to see it right here in front of my face. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's amazing. I would have printed that myself. Yeah, and like you said, you didn't even expect to really get it back, and then once you did, you didn't even want to open it. You was thinking that it was somebody just sharing you. And it was a nice letter. It was a beautiful one. You know what I mean?
Beautiful letter.
Yeah.
You know?
So, with that being said, individuals across the United States can actually partake in this. A lot of individuals just really don't know.
Nobody knows. And understand this is still got to be settled in other district courts, other federal courts. The Ninth Circuit is the forefront of all of this, you know, and that's because of the lawsuit that we brought. Actually, there was a lawsuit in 1996 against New York City, and that was an interesting lawsuit. That's how I found out about my rights. These artists won a lawsuit against New York City for fighting them against their business license requirements. And in that ruling is it's called Berry versus New York, 1996. You can look that one up online as well. But that ruling was interesting because on the one hand they exquisitely point out why the arts are protected, and it's a wonderful ruling to read that. But they did make one error. They did not limit it to self-expression. And the problem was then that the city of New York opened it up to anybody selling anything. And they ended up with people backing trucks up to the parks unloading stuff out of China and all this artwork, and it just destroyed it again. And all the artists basically got run off by all the commercial vendors buying and selling artwork, you know. Well, I read that ruling way back in 1996, and I understood that mistake. And it took me all those years to finally line the attorneys up here in Nevada and bring these federal lawsuits to clear up that mistake.
Okay.
Isn't that interesting?
Okay.
It took all those years, but I knew that. And the Ninth Circuit finally clarified all that. So now, really, right now in the United States, I wouldn't recommend any artist just go do this stuff. Contact me first and let me send you the information, the ruling.
Once again, before you even talk about anything else, where can individuals that may want to contact you, how can they go about contacting you? Give them some information.
My name is Stephen C. White, S-T-E-V-E-N-C, White, just like the color white. And my email address is the number 50, but spelled out. 50, F-I-F-T-Y, G-I-M-I, Jimmy, that's G-I-M-I at gmail.com. So it's 50Jimmy at gmail.com.
Indeed, indeed.
And if you contact me, I'll send you copies of these federal court rulings. I'll send you the copies of the new Reno codes so that you can go into your mayor and your city council, show them these codes, demand your rights, and tell them, look, if you aren't going to, give me my rights, I'm going to sue the hell out of you.
Now, that's a winner.
I almost have to do that. I'm working with artists in cities over in California right now, and they're literally having to threaten their city governments with federal lawsuits to get them to change these policies. It's so entrenched, they just don't, it's amazing. They're making so much money off these festivals, I guess.
Yeah. Now tell me this, once again, any artist can be able to come do this any day of the week. Is it a time frame that they have to be able to work in between?
No, basically, regular civic hours, anytime, during sunrise, up till late at night. Actually, Reno's open all night long, so yeah, it's free speech.
Indeed.
It's free. You are no different when you're right here with my paintings. I am no different than you and I sitting here talking. If my paintings weren't here, you and I it'd be no different at all. It'd be the standard.
Hey, well, you all heard it right here on the 24-Hour Network Radio. Y'all don't go nowhere.
That one
we'll be right back right after this.
The frame cost me $100. Oh, you Native American? $250 to get a $50 discount.
Man,
I love my Native American people.
And we were just talking about y'all on our radio station.
Encampment on Sacred Land. And no sales tax either.
Oh, shit.
Well, we got stuff coming right back, so.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, if you want it, you come back, we'll work a deal for you. I love my Native American people.
Baby girl, you over here having fun, huh? I've been watching you. You cool, gone. I see. I was watching. No, I was seeing you. I would have been came and said something. If I was going to be mad. You did good? Yeah. Hold on, don't mess up the pictures down here. Get a little, okay.
I'm still painting.
Where you get these ones at?
Oh, from the guy who was sitting right there.
Oh, we're going to have to put these in a frame.
No, no.
Knowing you're around here.
Oh, yeah, I was right there the whole time watching y'all.
I mean, I know how it is a little, but I feel better when the
Yeah.
How did you watch us?
I was watching, trust me. Huh? So, who's the dude that sell the book? Oh, this dude.
More soda?
there first because it would be better.
All right.
Now can you tell me what happened?
Yeah. What do you think?
No, I'm asking my dad.
Oh, okay.
You know his name?
No.
His name is Eric.
Eric. Okay.
Eric. Say
Oh,
F.
Hey.
F.
Eric.
F.
Eric.
Rick.
Rick.
Eric.
Eric. Okay. Thank you.
Eric.
All right.
It's not working.
What's going on? Were you trying brown? That color is not very good. You can try to wipe it off on the thing there and try some new soda on there and try again. Or just go straight to here. You can go straight to here. It was this one though that you were doing. You were doing that one.
Yeah.
Okay. Better? Good enough? No, not good?
You should look him up now.
Do what? Oh. You could be safe. I don't know who it is.
But just look him up because he would die.
I don't know. I didn't bring water. I'm supposed to use water, not soda, so. Sorry.
You using it.
Some of them worked a little. Do you want to try some pens now? Got a lot of colors on there.
I'm not done with the color.
Okay.
I'm an artist.
Yeah.
And nobody is the artist of mine.
Yeah.
No, why not?
Okay, right. Name is music, I play it, but also I got a show called Awesome Record.
I'm an artist, Daddy.
Anybody want to make their own postcards?
Not open mic, but what I was doing, more or less, is interviews. I can interview people about cover, obviously. Yeah, but I can take that down.
Okay, my name is Art. But my name is really Erica. So I'm just saying my name like that. Like that right now. Try that plot. Let's see if it works.
Okay. Kind of mixed them together a little.
I was all of them.
No, listen, Monday, I'm going to be setting up my shop right outside the print shop over there. Once you told me what's going on,
Oh, you said on your picture you might get paid on this letter. Careful.
out here for artists. And everybody's going to be able to get interviews. It's all about
On my
support.
coat.
So when
Get it?
we don't have a radio station, everybody's going to be
But we gotta remember to not get anybody's clothes on there because if it's wet, it'll get thrown up. I hope it'll wash out, but I really don't know. Watercolor, it should wash out. It got stuck on your finger though. Oh no, wouldn't want to risk it.
Okay, my support North tonight on
The little artist.
you got
You can smear it across the
you know
side.
what I mean? I don't need no more.
You can smear it across and on mop the water up a little from the yeah. With the brush though,
I put my hand in it.
you could take this big brush and put it right in that puddle and it'll make the puddle smaller if you drag it across the side if you want. There you got your fingerprints on there.
Yeah. Oh, now we're not going to go.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Can I put it in there?
If you want. want it to.
I put it on this.
Yeah. Just a little bit. There you go.
No,
On the side there. Yeah. There you go. That's enough. That's enough.
a little.
Yeah.
I can do my own.
Remember where to sit. Remember where to sit and for the pink. Let's put this over here so you can move around, and I'll put everything right on the side here. And all you do is you can sit there. Look, and I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah.
no, get off my finger.
Oh, it's getting off your finger?
No, because I'm rubbing it on this. And then that's how it's getting off my finger.
Oh, well, hopefully something works. Okay, that way you don't have to switch all around or anything. Whatever.
You ready, baby girl?
No!
Oh my God.
I told you.
I'm Eric, man.
I'm making
That's
this
right.
for my mom.
I wasn't sure what I was gonna. I tried to bring little stuff so people could do stuff. Really,
Yeah.
I wanted to sit around and do some stuff, but
Yeah.
I didn't bring water and I forgot some stuff. So.
Yeah, it's all good, man. Y'all did the best y'all could.
No, I'm the one who's doing the other stuff.
Okay. You don't want to go get nothing to eat from the buffet?